Come on. Good girl, let's go. Come on. Good girl, bring it. Hey. Good girl. Hello and happy hump day. I'm over here making lunch for the kids. One is getting a quesadilla and he's gonna eat that with leftover lentils from dinner last night, and I might do the same. And the other one doesn't do leftovers, so he's getting mac and cheese. I'm thinking today we go through my story graph and figure out, maybe we'll do my lowest rated books of the year, and we'll save my favorite reads for another day. I usually wait on doing like my favorite reads of the year, but I kind of have an idea of what I have left to read, and not that I don't have high hopes for the reads, but like I don't see them being things that like usurp a top spot, you know? Except maybe for the Pat Barker book that rounds off the Regeneration trilogy, because we're up to the final book, the third book. Oops. And that's the one that I believe won the Pulitzer Prize. But to me, like, I expect that it is making up for the fact that the first book didn't win the Pulitzer Prize. They gave it to the third book. I think the first book was amazing. So that would be the only thing that, like, is that book great on its own? Or was it just, you know, the prize was going for the series as a whole? Because the first book already is going to end up on my favorites of the year. So maybe I wait. No, I'm pretty confident that like my top reads have been read. So, but anyway, today we're going to start with worst reads. Okay, there's one lunch settled. Well, breaking news while I ate my lunch. So before we get to my lowest rated reads of the year, humor me with a little bit of Mets chat. My Mets are continuing to lose players. Goodbye, Alonso. I'm sorry for all the times I made fun of you, which was like all the time, but like, iconic Met. Goodbye. I just messaged my mom like, well, at least we still have Marte, which is kind of a joke because he doesn't play all that much. But my God, is he beautiful. Like, my mom was like meh about him, and I was like, but look at him. Like, I just want to watch him. He's the one to, like, after anyone hits a home run, like, he takes them and like does the picture with them, and I'm like, whatever gets him more photos of Marte, I'm down for. He doesn't have to play a minute. But he's still on the team. And my mom was like, well, and we still have McNeil and Beatty. So how do I break it to her that I don't think we're going to have McNeil for very long either? And McNeil is another one I had to convince her to like, because like, he's not a flashy player, but he's a solid all around utility man. You can count on him to get on base. That's my kind of player. But I think he's going to be the next to go, especially because we just got, in the trade where we got rid of Nimmo, we got Simeon, which means McNeil is going to be gone. But we still have Beatty. Oh, and we still have Juan Soto and Lindor and Marte. I just cheered myself up by looking up pictures of Starling Marte. Works every time.
And I had forgotten that Marte is actually a free agent and might not be on the Mets next season.
So before I go to bed, I will quickly run down, because I did this before and it was crap. So let me refilm it. But my lowest rated reads of 2025. So I'll do my 3 1-stars and my 3 2-stars. There's some 2.5, there's some 2.75. I'm going to focus on the lowest of the low. So, The Hearing Test by Eliza Barry Callahan. This got 1 star from me. It's about a young woman who experiences like sudden hearing loss, and over the course of a year, it gets worse. She's trying to track it. She's doing tests to see how much loss she has, how quickly she's losing her hearing, what can be done, what's causing it, I did not like it at all. And I think I've come to realize it's because the main character and like all her circle of friends and, there's an ex-boyfriend and his current girlfriend that she ends up staying with. It was just all weird, but they're all like artsy fartsy. And I think I've come to the conclusion that I do not like books in which the characters are like artistic types. It was also like a little bit too like the writing style was a little too detached and like dreamlike. Yeah. So next 1-star read, The Bridge of San Luis Rey by Thornton Wilder. This is, I guess you can call them interconnected short stories, kind of framed within this like broader story of a monk who's researching the lives of these 5-6 people who died when a bridge collapsed, and he's obsessed with the idea that like there must be a reason these people died, otherwise like God is random, and it just doesn't suit him. Like, why, after all these years of this bridge being up, it's like a rope bridge in the Andes Mountains, why did it collapse and why did these people die? Like, there must be a reason. So that's the framing of this book, and I liked that. But then the stories he learns or he tells about each person who died in the bridge collapse, absolutely awful and boring and like overwritten, but in a way that felt phony. It felt like a privileged white American author trying to put on like this romantic Latin American like classic writing style. Hated every single minute of it. At least there wasn't many. It was a very, very short book. Both of the books I've mentioned have been very, very short. And my last 1-star read was actually a very recent read, Havisham by Ethan Frame. This is a novel inspired by Dickens's Great Expectations. Now, I only just read Great Expectations also, and like I liked it. I didn't love it, so I'm not like a purist when it comes to like the original novel. Haven't read much else by Dickens, so like I'm not like a Dickens diehard. So like the way it strayed from the original book is not the only reason I absolutely hated Havisham. what I hated the most was that the characterization was awful. The writing style, like the quality and the structure of the book, terrible. And ultimately, like the story itself, the characters just were very inconsistent. And not only in regards to like them being inconsistent from the original work, within this book, there were things that just didn't make sense. I hated it. And that at the very, very end, there's a revelation that just made me want to burn the book. But it was a library book, so I didn't. Moving on to my 2-star reads, I have Pale Shadows by Dominique Fortier. This is a book about 3 women who were close to Emily Dickinson. So you've got her sister-in-law, and her brother's mistress. And so each of those characters get like a POV. And the story is about them finding Emily Dickinson's poems after her death and then working to compile the poems, edit the poems, decipher her handwriting because it was, messy. And she has a very unique, like, spelling style and, like, line breaks and punctuation style in her poems. And, like, do we keep it? Do we fix it? And so, yeah, that it's them working to get her poems published after her death, but ultimately it was super boring. Then we have Tell Me Everything by Elizabeth Strout, and I read this because it was shortlisted for the Women's Prize. However, it's like a 5th in a series, and it pretty much relies on you already loving the characters, which I did not, because I have never read anything else by Elizabeth Strout. But even not already loving the characters, like the story itself, dog just startled me. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of like a mystery or something to figure out in the book. I've already like forgotten most about it. That is boring on its own. Like, so forget the fact that it's part of a series and that I didn't read. Like, the plot of this one book itself was pointless, was not engaging. Like, there was nothing to care about in this book. And then lastly, controversial, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I just don't think it's funny. This was a reread for me. I had a feeling my son would like it, and I think he did, so we listened to it together. Yeah, I didn't like it the first time I read it, and I didn't like it this time. So yeah, those 6 are my lowest rated books of 2025.